Good day and welcome to Women in Data Science, Trinidad and Tobago's Spotlight Talk. I am Dr. Leticia Addison, and today I'm going to share with you one of our local talent in Trinidad and Tobago who has been delving into some generative AI tools for public good. So today's talk is based on TriniVerse, a culturally intelligent Caribbean artificial intelligence platform. And our spotlight speaker is Mr. Jayden Boodram, who is the tech innovator, AI developer, and founder of TriniVerse. But first, for those of you who are not familiar with Women in Data Science, Trinidad and Tobago, and what we do, I'll give you a short overview. As I mentioned before, I am Leticia Addison. I am the ambassador of WiDS, as we say for short, TNT. And WiDS Trinidad and Tobago is part of a global organization which builds data literacy for all, for everyone across the globe. We host independent events aligned with the global WiDS data challenge, or what we call a data-thon, and we seek to build data literacy at every level while inspiring and also empowering and elevating girls and women in the field. However, all our events, our webinars, our workshops, our forums, our spotlight talks are open to all data enthusiasts who are ready to explore the power of data. So if you would like to find out more about what we do, feel free to jump in to our website at widstt.com. So today we have a very special guest, as we mentioned before. We have Jaden. Jaden is a Trinidadian tech innovator, AI developer, and founder of the TriniVerse, Caribbean's first culturally intelligent AI platform. He is currently pursuing a B.Sc in IT, Information Technology, at CTS College in Trinidad, blending academic excellence with hands-on innovation. With roots in IT, infrastructure, education, and software development, Jaden is on a mission to digitally transform the region. Through his tools, which include TriniChat, Jeff AI, Anika Justice, and Veda, he is building tech that empowers people, celebrates culture, and redefines Caribbean digital engagement. So I'm really, really happy to have Jaden here today. And first off, he is going to do a little bit of a spotlight presentation on his tool, the background to what the tool is about, a demonstration, and then we will go into our chat. So Jaden, I will now invite you to feel free to jump in and take the floor and present to our viewers your really very innovative platform.
All right, Leticia, thank you for having me, and thanks for the wonderful introduction you put together. Let me just screen share here. Right. Prior to Leticia's wonderful introduction about me, hi, again, I'm Jayden Boodram, and well, today we're going to be doing TriniVerse. So people might ask, what is TriniVerse? Initially, TriniVerse is, a culturally intelligent AI platform, built with the soul of a soca warrior. Is born in Trinidad and Tobago because, the idea is really to keep it Trini rooted, we wanted rooted in culture. We wanted it with our, soca warrior, the same energy we put in for Carnival Monday, Carnival Tuesday, same energy that these AIs have. So it's initially just to, have this sort of AIs to be, just like us. You wanted like us. You wanted to be us, made by us for us. And the initial purpose, the initial, movement I like to look at is really to, push for education and, legal empowerment, or even your finances. Right. Now, you might want to know what is TriniVerse, or, what it comprises of. So this is the AI family. We have TriniChat, the mind. He helps with homework, STEM, even with Creole learning. He also helps with network and even with basic coding functions. You can also access the web, even YouTube videos as well. Anika Justice, the law, she's basically your legal literacy or your rights explained. And you can also ask, and it also have a feature called Ask Anika if you want to know general legal information. So think of Ministry of Legal Affairs at your personal fingertips or even a personal lawyer. Jeff, the money, initially budgeting, debt, even financing, is your financial clarity advisor. Same concept, even at your fingertips. So you don't need to, don't need to call your bank agent. You could just simply prompt him what you want to use on Jeff, and he would break it down for you. He could even draft you a bank statement, even any letters that that the bank even requires, or even other organizations. Veda, the spirit, she's more wellness meditation. So it really is more um soul centered and more for mental health. So what she does, she wants to keep you aligned with your soul, aligned with your mental, because at the end of the day, we have to have our mental health in check, because you don't want to have a bad day, you have a bad mental health, on a long term effect, it wouldn't be properly executed, especially when it comes to your work and even daily life. Even though that we are overwhelmed by these sort of things. What Veda does, she helps break down the overwhelmness and aligns you back to, a sort of spiritual groundness, in a sense that, that you are in contentment and even, in a bit of a state of peace. So initially, she's more of your spiritual assistant. And lastly, CTS Scholar, the student OS. This is a beta student portal where students can access six or even keep files, past papers, syllabus, etc. And what they can do is, it has a built-in AI feature. So, students might want to, a boring teacher, they might want a fun, engaging teacher, just to keep them confident, they want to keep them learning. So initial goal CTS College is to keep these students intact with their academics, as well as keep them, keep the work engaging and fun. You know, a common question that came across me a lot: how was I able to build and train these models? So front and back end, of course, I use React JS. I optimize Firebase. I use also OpenAI. I especially for the AI models, I use OpenAI such as ChatGPT 4.0. Regarding that, since that is one of the most advanced models, it was easier to train rather than Gemini 2.5. But I also use Gemini 2.5 for some of my other applications, such as CTS or even Veda. So there's some of the applications that were optimized with Gemini 2.5. REST, especially TriniChat, it was optimized with OpenAI 4.0. Basic languages would just be JavaScript, Python, TypeScript, even basic API keys as well. And some of the key design and UI features, you want to keep it culture rooted. It have a cultural tone, so you can see on even on the TriniChat website, if you were to go to look at it now, it has it has Caribbean, it have the Caribbean centered vibe, it have a dark mode, it's just to keep it easy on the eyes. It even have a little double sign at the corner, just to get have that sort of engagement with the user. Like, oh, okay, this AI, it thinks and speaks like us. It is us, in other words. Um, for the main prompt engineering, again, I want to keep it locally, dialect and culture rooted. And some of the key features, because most of them are basically more or less the same thing. You have voice note, you have image, where you can upload images, you can upload files, you can upload Word and even PDF files. You can upload screenshots, you can even it also have voice note analyst, so you can even, and some of these features are featured on all platforms. So if you don't really feel like typing and you want to say something, you really can't explain it, typing it out, you can simply just voice note it. Some, and the initial goal is for the cultural and even real impact. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of problems, and it's really based on our culture and our, how we go about ourselves over these years. And some of the main key features were education, law, and finance. So within these areas of, especially with high areas of key problems, I was able to optimize AI to, work around it or even breach through these problems. And on a long-term scale, these AIs can make a big impact. So regarding with the education part, we instead of having most students feeling discouraged or they don't want them keep them monotonous, they don't want them, on a lower educational level. So what the educational part, you want AI to at least assist them or even give them the confidence where to be able to perform well and even explain certain subjects for themselves. So initial goal really, the Trini, especially the Trini and the cultural dialect, is really just to bridge the gap of between, over explaining and making and uncomplicating these sort of things into our understanding. So same likewise for finance and law, is really just to keep the users and even the citizens engaged and in a sense where they don't feel discouraged financially. You don't want them to feel like, oh, they need to afford a lawyer, they need to, they don't need to have this certain amount of money in the bank to, to even, draft up a certain amount of letter or whatnot. It's really about empowerment and cultural empowerment. And it's really just, so that the user, we want the initial goal is really to bridge the gap between the pavement, people from the pavement to parliament, because you want you want tools that assist everyone in the nation, and you want to look at it at these parts where okay, we have a problem, and these are problems we face daily, even with our families, even for ourselves, even with our kids. So using these tools now, you're able to bridge the gap and able to crack the code. In other words, TriniVerse is really initially, it fixes the problem we have in Trinidad and Tobago. And you really want it in a way that, in a sense, you keeps the nation on the same page as the rest of the world rather than we, behind in tech, we behind in the sort of digital transformation. You want to keep us aligned with these sort of things. Uh, my vision and next steps. So coming soon, I'm looking at publishing TriniChat on the App Store. So App Store and both Play Store. So within the coming weeks, it should be there, as well as on the basic web. So users can now go up on Google, go any browser and search up TriniChat, and it should be able to get a link that redirects them to the actual UI. Um, but let's go a bit more global, a bit of a visionary here. So initially, I like to scale the Caribbean. I like to scale our governments, our schools, partner with the ministry, partner with the Ministry of Education, Finance, digital transformation. Um, what advice would I give to the young creators? Just start messy. You could start anyhow you want. AI is not just artificial intelligence, it's authentic identity, we shouldn't have innovation feel foreign. You want to make it home. You want to make it us. So I would say, even for myself, just start messy. Start, even if I've broken up, just start. It's better to start than not to start, because at the end of the day, execution is better than not execution at all. The saying goes, it's better to try than not to try. And and trust me, I've failed a lot of time trying to train these models as well and implement it. So you will learn over your failures, and it is good because I was able to build 5 applications that I had a lot of issues with, and each application I was able to improve on a issue that I had before. So you could see where the outcome was. So even if you don't have these sort of resources, still start something, even a script, a basic small uh dev template, anything, and you could grow from there. We did a quick presentation on TriniChat, and you see what TriniChat is. As I said before, it's really more like a homework helper. It helps with STEM, helps with coding, and even breaks down certain, our Creole dialect, definitions. And it really breaks down complicated things down to our understanding. And it's really just to keep us engaged and empowered. So we could do a quick demo on the homework helper, because that's because that's just it, right? You have a bit of trouble with homework, and you might not understand it with the long math definitions. You might ask, okay, let's do a quadratic formula. So you can come to TriniChat, just navigate to the solve to the solve prompt. So you could just type in /prompt, or you could even optimize these buttons below here. You can see even on the UI that the buttons are placed there to give you just a quick, what it does. So let's say we want to do a quadratic formula. Right. So you can see here, it really breaks down how, what it is. And you say, yeah, you can here you solve a little quadratic equation, like common interest was yesterday or, and it gives a bit of a roll with virtual eyes, like, like you almost crash, like a bit of attitude. And initially, it will break it down for you. So basic maths will break it down, explain to you what you need to do or what is the steps into solving this equation. And simple, I would say first one, x equals to x etc. And you break this. So step one, first, what x is, what y is, and then initially let's come down here to our last prompt. So you can see that our x equals to 3 or x equals to 0.5. And you might give a bit of a little sassy talk. So you say, all they understand or all they want me to draw, or they want me to draw a picture too, let me go now. I have a more important thing to do than line here, and I explain basic maths. The next thing you're gonna be asking me how to boil water, and it'll give you like a digital .ui. And it's really just the initial goal of TriniChat is to keep it, keep it sarcastic, keep it like us. We love to backchat, we love to give talks, these sorts of things. Next popular feature that were used during testing and even beta launch was coding. Same concept, we navigate to code help, and we could just prompt them with I give them a quick Python code on what that is. So you can see here how it really breaks down the Python. So at top, it analyzes the code and then it gives you a breakdown. So it also explains what each line of code does. So you can see here, calculate total items. As you can see in the first line here, that, okay, the function is taking this list of items as an input. Each item is supposed to be a dictionary with a price key. So it'll give it like a little, again, relatable sense. Don't bring any coconut water money in here, or only proper prices. So it really gives you that sort of, kind of fun, sort of sarcastic kind of prompt, really just to keep you engaged. And, in the sense of, okay, this AI could talk like me, and this AI is me. Think of your brethren who like just really talk you down, and again, at the end of the day, will keep you up. So basic stuff, and it even comes down to how it explains the formatting of the code, and even what is strings, booleans, etc. What the code does, any certain you might want to take a pause. Right. It would even also give you what are possible errors that could occur within the code. So it's really just to give you an idea on what it does and what the code executes is. So as you can see here, calculate price of VAT is 12.5%. You just enter the tag price. Let's say it is $20, and it even outputs the code one time. Next one is STEM learning, because there's a lot of STEM related jobs out there. So you want to keep our especially our future kids, especially future generation of Trinidad, engaged in these sort of things. So they might want to know, what is Newton's law of motion? And some of them mightn't understand it based on textbooks and stuff. So what TriniChat really does is, again, breaks it down into our understanding. So it is say first up, Newton's first law. And basically thing is like to say how it moves. So if it move in, it wants to keep moving in a straight line or the same speed. If it's sitting down, it is basically doing nothing. If it wants to keep doing nothing, it stays to do nothing. Unless something like force it to change. Like when you try to sleep in a savannah, or like when we say get up or do chores, stuff like that. That's a perfect example where this sort of personal relatedness comes from. So you could really say, because some people might really understand where, certain examples are. So it's really just to give them the examples that, okay, I understand what Newton's law is and down to my, okay, example, you're trying to sleep in the savannah, or mom said don't get up, you have chores to do, and you just don't feel to get up. So it's really just that sort of thing. You could also create images within it. So let's say you want to create a carnival mask, and it prompts search carnival mask, and it using the image button, you could create any images you want as well as you could access the web. So let's just say you want to Google, let's say, how to make cookies. And it'll give you a list of sites where you can access these sorts of things. Same concept goes for YouTube. You can ask, same thing, how to make cookies, and it will redirect you to a YouTube page or YouTube link with this prompt. And you see click search, and we could just read it will redirect us to a YouTube link. And if users want to understand a bit of, Trini vocabulary, let's say tabanca, for example, because some people might know what tabanca is, certain like Trini slangs like lime, tabanca, bars, these sort of thing, etc. So it's really just to give them, the definition of what it is. So it might say, what is tabanca? And let me break it down to what tabanca is for you. Basically that is real heavy feelings that, have of a breakup, etc. So you could see where it breaks down our vocabulary down to our understanding as well. So you could see even though it gives you a bit of a sarcastic thing, it's really just to keep you really, really engaged with it, because TriniChat is more like, again, your friend who, will talk you down with bad talk. What's it bad? He would talk you down, you give you a few hot mouth chats, and then at the end of the day, he would uplift you, he would help you. He wanted, improving in your work. So think of it as your really, really cool AI brethren that you want to keep around. And he wouldn't let you go astray. Even though he might hit ya a few personal hits on personal comments that might feel offended, he will always have your back.
Okay, so thank you so much for that, Jaden. That was a really, really informative, very, very impressive technical presentation about the platform. So I know that besides the actual innovation behind the platform and all the different aspects of what users could do with TriniVerse, a lot of people probably asking, let's start with Jaden. In terms of your background that we shared before, aside from your academic pursuits and these things, what can you say that really led you into this world of tech and innovation?
You know, as a student, even as a student, even as a regular citizen, you want this sort of empowerment, you want this sort of a tool to help you, you want how to say this? I always wanted something to, a bit of assistance. Even though I might be able to figure it out on my own, you still might want like a secondary source to at least assist you in something. Or even not even me, or also people, because at the end of the day, you mightn't be able to access these sort of resources, even as regular citizens. So why not create it for them? And you know, even though it's the first one of the first Caribbean, culturally centered intelligence, the the reason really came about is because, I pursue my B.Sc here at CTS College in IT. So, I've always been, even as a student, I'm more a fixed guy, even when it comes from coding, networking, even just simple projects. I've always been able to, okay, we have a solution, we have a problem. How can we, be able to fix this? If it's the correct solution, if it's the wrong one, if it's the right way, So over these years, I've been able to develop this sort of fix it kind of mentality. So I was able to identify these sort of problems, even as a student, because I still have, my assignments coming up. I still have group projects and stuff. So, it's really more about, more than just tech. It's really just, it's been obsessed with systems, not just, technical systems, more people, down to the people as well. So, just to see how things connect, how people work, how we could design smart, so how we could work around a certain problem, and how we could reflect, in our culture and our needs. So Trinity was really born from the passion of blending the Caribbean identity with the AI, because we are currently, in an AI era where we need to, where AI is integrating these sort of things. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's really, really interesting.
Okay.
Because it really shows that you have quite a motivation, that really spoke to how, you really built over time. And I'm thinking that, a platform like TriniVerse, it's such a creative and technical build. So I know you mentioned a few tools and platforms like that you use, like OpenAI, for instance. Did you have any sort of technical challenges that you faced that you were able to solve? Anything that came up in this process of actually building TriniVerse that you want to share about some of the challenges?
Yeah, well, I use OpenAI, ChatGPT 4.0. So, it's really wrapped in custom personas and logic engines. So, I got a lot of legal help. I use sources. I use a lot of sources from online. I use, well, for one of them would be legal affairs. I use most of these sources I would have pulled from official, government agencies and stuff like that, even down to school organizations, just to implement this sort of, one, the dialect and this sort of personas. I wouldn't say personas, sorry. The information, sorry, yes, the information I would have implemented is because, again, I have finance, I have law, I have education. So you want the AI to be able to, pick up on these things. Um, I use more, how is it? I want to integrate it with TypeScript and JavaScript. So I optimize a lot of, well, I built it on VS Code and Firebase, more for both front and back end. I use React, I use Next.js for these sort of things. I integrated everything, for cloud functions. I have implemented with using Google Cloud. So it manages the both database and the AIs, as well as, to handle the prompts and the tone switching. It's really about the prompt engineering and whatnot. And I really integrated using the ChatGPT OpenAI with also Google, and even within ChatGPT's interface as well, which is the ChatGPT API. So it's really just to optimize all those things and integrate it all into one. And it may sound a bit like, how is it, confusing. We have all these sort of UIs, both front end and back end, and also dev tools, but it's really just about puzzling it and putting it together. You could see how easy, but the big challenge was to train the model and get the resources, because this is a custom persona in which I built, and I was able to implement it in all five. And I would say one of the big problem was really context switching and memory, because yeah, I have to let the AI switch between school, like AI switch to talk between schools or and street smart, and without losing track of what the user needs. So you don't want to strain away, like, okay, let's say a student want to know again, let's go back to TriniChat, what the maths problem is. You don't want them strain away from the maths problem. It's really just, and another tone was, another one was tone teaching, when AI, when you went to Lime and to lock in, because now we know, at Trinity, we like to play, we like to, we like to old talk and thing. So it's really just to implement a sort of, you know, we come to do work, let's do work. When we come to talk fun, we come to talk fun. So, that's really where the magic happens. That's where, you want that was really the hardest part for me to implement, that sort of context switching, especially within prompt engineer and the AI learning these sort of tones, and knowing when and how to, again, prompt it to back to the user.
Jaden, I mean, it has been really great talking to you today, and I am quite sure our audience will be very happy to, see the use of this tool and visit the platform as well. As you could see, the platform shared on the screen as well. We will also give you that link on our website and in the description box of the YouTube video as well. So I'd like to thank you again, Jaden, for joining us. And for all of you out there, please take his advice and stay curious. And we will see you next time for another one of our Spotlight Talks. Thank you and take care.